So you're looking to start a business in Qatar and you've heard about setting up an LLC? In this explainer, we're going to break down that whole process for you. We'll cut through the jargon and show you exactly what you need to do, from the new ownership laws all the way to getting your doors open for business. If you're an entrepreneur and your eyes are set on the Middle East, this question has probably crossed your mind. And you know what? Qatar recently made some huge changes that might just make that decision a whole lot easier for you. And here it is. This one number, it changes everything. 100%. Since 2019, you can now have full 100% foreign ownership of a business in most sectors in Qatar. This has completely transformed the game for international investors. Okay, so let's dive into what this new era really looks like. And trust me, this isn't just some small update to the rules. It's a massive shift designed to pull in global talent and investment, making Qatar a seriously competitive spot to do business. And you can really see the difference when you put the old way right next to the new way. I mean, look at this. Before 2019, you had to have a Qatari partner who owned 51% of your company. That meant you didn't have full control, and getting your profits out could be complicated. But now, thanks to this new law, it's 100% yours. That's full control, and you can send all your profits home. It's a total game changer. So where can you actually do this? Well, the doors are wide open for a ton of sectors. We're talking everything from IT and consulting to manufacturing, healthcare, tourism. The list just goes on. Really, only a few very specific areas like banking are still restricted. So how do you actually take advantage of all this? Well, the go-to business structure, the one pretty much everyone uses, is the LLC. Let's look at why this is the perfect vehicle for investors who want to build a real presence in Qatar. So what is a limited liability company anyway? You'll often see it called a W.L.L in Qatar, which just stands for with limited liability. Now, the most important part of that name is limited liability. It means your personal assets are protected. The company is its own separate thing, so your personal financial risk is capped at whatever you've invested in the business itself. And here's why it's such a smart move. You can have anywhere from 2 to 50 shareholders, and they can be people or even other companies. But here's the real kicker. Your LLC is seen as a local Qatari company. That gives you access to things like government contracts and regional markets that you might not get otherwise. All right, you're sold on the idea. Now for the nitty-gritty. How do you actually do it? We've laid it all out for you in this 10-step roadmap. It might seem like a lot, but honestly, it's a very clear step-by-step process. But before we jump into those 10 steps, let's talk about the timeline. I mean, how long are we talking about here? Well, if you've got all your documents ready to go, you can realistically expect the whole thing, from picking a name to being fully up and running, to take about 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, steps 1 through 5. Let's start at the beginning. First, you pick your business activity from the official government list and reserve a unique company name that ends in W.L.L. Then you draft your articles of association. Think of it as the rule book for your company. After that, you deposit your share capital. About 200,000 riyals is pretty standard, and then you get that first official thumbs up from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. All right, you're halfway there. Now for the final stretch. Step 6 is a big one, getting your commercial registration, or CR. This is what legally creates your company. Then you get a trade license for your office space, register with the Chamber of Commerce, and get your establishment card, which is absolutely essential if you want to hire people. The last step is just tying up loose ends, like getting registered for taxes. Okay, a 10-step plan is great, but I know what you're thinking. What about all the paperwork? So let's run through exactly what documents you're going to need to have on hand to make sure this all goes smoothly. So the documents you need really depend on who the shareholder is. If it's just you, an individual, it's pretty simple stuff. Passport copies, proof of address, that kind of thing. But if a corporation is one of your shareholders, it gets more formal. You'll need official company documents and, this is really important, they have to be legally attested by the Qatari embassy in their home country. And on top of those personal or corporate docs, everyone needs this stuff. You'll see things from our 10-step path here, like the name reservation and the notarized articles. But look at that one in the middle, an approved office lease. You absolutely has to have a physical office address in Qatar to get this done. All right, let's talk about the big one, the money. The question every single investor has on their mind: what is this all going to cost? Let's take a real, honest look at the investment you'll need to make. So here's the bottom line. You should probably budget somewhere in this range, between 70,000 and 200,000 Qatari riyals. Now, why such a wide range? Well, it really depends on what kind of business you're starting, how big your office is, and if you hire professionals to help you out. Let's slice that number up a bit. First, you've got your government fees. Things like reserving your name, getting that CR, the trade license. These are pretty standard costs, so you know what to expect. They're a predictable part of your budget. And then you have the other costs. And this is where that big range really comes from. We're talking about fees for legal help, hiring someone to run around and handle all the government paperwork for you. They call that PRO services. And of course, your monthly office rent. This is where your total cost can really go up or down. Okay, you did it. You made it through all 10 steps. Your company is officially launched. You're open for business. Congratulations. But, and this is a big but, the journey isn't over. Now we need to talk about what you have to do to stay compliant and keep your new company in good shape. Think of this as your annual health checkup for the business. Every single year, you've got to renew your main licenses, like your CR and trade license. You have to file audited financials and pay that 10% corporate tax on your profits. And you must stay on top of all the labor laws, like the system for paying your employees' salaries. And really, this quote just nails it. Staying on top of all this stuff isn't just about dodging fines. It's about making sure your business can keep running smoothly year after year without any nasty surprises. And just so you know, they're not kidding around with this stuff. The penalties are serious. You could be looking at fines starting around 5,000 rials for something as simple as a late renewal. And in a worst-case scenario, you could actually have your entire business license canceled. So there you have it. We've gone through the 100% ownership law, the 10-step plan, the documents, the costs, and what you need to do to stay on track. The road to setting up a business in Qatar is clearer and more open than it has ever been. So that just leaves one big question for you to think about. Is this the next home for your business?